Hi everybody, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Zach, and this is Perkenbark.
This week we are coming at you with another part 2, I guess you could say, of Special Blend. So kind of like a little mixtape, bunch of beans together.
All the beans.
All the beans. We are doing music that we really wanted to share with you this week that didn't necessarily fit a theme.
Yes, exactly. So what was that?
What was all of that?
What were those crazy long lines?
That was Ihr Habt und Traurigkeit by Brahms. And this is a piece that I've been working on for a while, and I haven't been brave enough to share yet. So this was, boom, big debut. Yes, you heard those super long lines. This is from his, it's just called his German Mass. And
Ein deutsches Requiem.
Ein deutsches Requiem. Yes, it's a requiem, not a mass. My apologies. And he wrote this after the death of his mother. So he was mourning the death of his mother. Also, Schumann. He was very close with Robert Schumann, and Schumann. I can't remember if he died. It was if he.
Do you know Robert Schumann? Do you know Bob Schumann?
Bob Schumann.
He died.
He died. Oh, that's a Mary Lisa. But you threw me off. It was after maybe a suicide attempt, or if he actually killed himself. I honestly can't remember. I think it was after a suicide attempt. And so, needless to say, Brahms was grieving a little bit. And unlike so many other requiems, he wrote this for the living. He wrote this on the perspective of those that have been left behind, as opposed to transcendence and the afterlife. So I think it's really interesting. And the last 3 phrases, Ich will euch wiedersehen, and the reason he says it, he writes it 3 times, is because I hope to see you again is the last bit. So I hope to see you again. And then, it's innig. It's inward. So, I could sit here and talk to you about this mass forever, but those are kind of the little kernels of what I wanted to share with you for that today.
So we might actually have a theme then. I'm realizing as Rachel's talking about what she's saying. Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit more about my selection. It's a 1 6-part selection. So, should we do coffee first?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I need some coffee before I get up there and sing some crazy stuff. And yes. I know that you need some coffee.
I need to wind down a little bit.
We also have a snack today.
Should we talk about the coffee first and then the
Sure.
snack?
Let's talk about the coffee first.
All right. You want to talk to them about this?
This is a coffee that we found at a coffee shop here in Philadelphia called Jiggy.
Jiggy. Such a fun name. They
have partnered with a coffee roaster. I'm going to make as much noise with the bag as I can. They have partnered with a small coffee roaster in Washington, D.C. called Small Plains. And it's kind of a pun, meaning they get small shipments of coffee, direct from the source as much as possible. They also are trying to bring together different planes of existence. On the back of the bag, I love this. We love that a single cup of coffee is simultaneously a global and local product, and we're excited to share this delicious coffee with you wherever you are. So, bringing people closer together by acknowledging how expansive and how small coffee production really can be, which I think is really awesome. It tastes amazing.
It does. Kind of what we do with music in this show.
Oh my god, we do have a theme today.
Wait, what's the varietal?
Sorry. I actually forgot.
That's why I put the bag here. See?
Giovanni Portela.
Giovanni Portela.
Portela. Not Portela. Sorry, there's only one L.
What does that mean? Where is it?
It's from Planadas, Colombia. Oh my goodness, I couldn't find it on the bag. It's right in front of me and I couldn't find it on the bag. And it's sort of a medium roast coffee with tasting notes that they say of pomegranate, brown butter, and tropical.
The tropical flavor.
Yeah, so sort of cherry-ish, and then warm and buttery.
It really is.
It's yummy.
We did it in the French press today.
Yes, for a very specific reason.
Yes. So, I'm not sure what your favorite coffee method is. Actually, if you want to pop that in the chat, that would be awesome. Even if that method happens to be made by a barista. That's great too.
I go into my app.
I go into my app. That's right. And coffee appears. Shout it out. Let us know what your favorite coffee method is. My favorite is, well, it depends on the bag, but it's probably the Chemex because it gives you a really nice clean cup of coffee. But with the French press, I hate the sludge that you get at the bottom. Basically just the grounds that seeped through the filter.
Right, because it's a metal filter, so it has bigger openings than a cloth filter does, just by design. So the tiny little silt from when it's ground.
Silt is a much more pleasing word than sludge.
But it does make a coffee sludge at the bottom. But what is our snack?
Our snack. So Zach introduced me to this, but okay, what was coffee missing? Cheese!
Cheese!
So I left mine whole so you could see. Let me see. So, cheese! I got a little hunk of cheese here, and it has, like, nice melty bits over there.
So this is a Scandinavian coffee drink.
So I'm gonna put the cubes in the bottom of my coffee. Yeah. Zach already did it.
I already did it. It's amazing, though. You wouldn't think coffee and cheese.
Right, you can't. At first I thought it was gross.
But
like, the idea, not the taste, because I hadn't tasted it yet. But tell the people what it does.
So this is made with something called bread cheese in English. In Finnish, it's called kaffeost, I think, which means coffee cheese, and it's exactly what it is. And it's a very firm, very dry cheese, almost rubbery. And if you have ever tried bread cheese, you can actually get it as a block, a thin block, and cook it, fry it, and it stays the same shape. It just gets softer, and this is nice, pleasing texture.
For Midwesterners out there, it's kind of like a cheese curd.
Same,
It's almost squeaky in, like, the rubbery factor. It sounds, like, I say rubbery, and immediately it's like, ugh. But the texture's really pleasing. It's really good.
And it kind of acts like a sponge for the coffee. So...
And the sludge.
And the sludge, right. So
Silt.
it picks up the tiny little chunks of coffee bean that are left over.
Yours is already brown.
And it turns that cheese from white, like you saw, into this amazing caramel color as it soaks up the coffee essence and gets a little bit soft. And so you end up with this creamy coffee experience. This cheese doesn't have a lot of salt in it either. So it doesn't overrun the coffee itself. In fact, it actually might bring out a little bit more of the sweetness.
I was just going to say that. You know how when you add salt to anything, it just kind of brings out more of the flavor? It does the same thing with coffee. So those tasting notes that we were talking about, it's the perfect amount. I think if you put salt in your coffee, I personally don't think that
That's
it would...
That's a thing, but it's a different kind of thing, yeah.
But I don't think that it would react the same way as it does in the cheese. But let us know if you tried this before, because it's really cool.
Yeah. And then go to your local dairy and get bread cheese.
That's right.
Dip it in your coffee. Leave a little chunks in there. Fish them out at the end.
So good.
Have yourself a nice treat. And it's kind of like a latte in the sense that it is a full meal. We've had this for breakfast before.
Yeah, it is pretty filling. I mean, all you need is a little piece of cheese and,
and some coffee.
Yeah.
And then you're good for several hours. It's kind of amazing. Yeah.
Do we have anybody out there who has said what their favorite method was?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Somebody said yuck.
Instant coffee. Trader
Joe's. That's right here. He's not trading me, though.
Coffee concentrate. Oh, we've nauseated some people. We're going to bring some of this to Virginia with us.
That's right.
We're going to try it.
Something's easy to clean. Yeah. That is real. We have lots of coffee contraptions, and I'm trying to think what the cleanest one would be. Probably the Chemex.
Probably the Chemex. If you take the time, though, the French press has no waste.
That's
because
true.
it's a filter plunger that you just reuse.
I think you can get a reusable Chemex filter.
But then you'd end up with sludge. And I feel
That's true.
Then you just end up making like
a Chemex.
French press coffee.
A French press. That's right. I don't know.
We already have one of those. Why do we need another one?
That's true. Would it work in tea?
I bet if you had a really lovely dark tea, it would probably taste really good. Or one that has some sweetness to it, because then a little bit of salt, again, goes with it.
I wonder if we have any. If we do, we will try it and put the video on Patreon.
The thing that the cheese adds, in addition to a little bit of salt, is some of the oil from it. So it kind of helps coat your mouth. So I probably, as long as it's got a good enough flavor to stand up to that.
I feel like we have some tea here that could do that. We'll try it and put it on Patreon.
Darjeeling.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, my love, as you sip your coffee, as I sip my coffee, why don't you do some talking and tell the people what you're about to sing?
I'm going to sing 6 songs from a Shropshire lad, setting by George Butterworth. The texts are all from A Shropshire Lad, which is a collection of poems by A.E. Houseman. And it's sort of like the title indicates, it's about young men living in Shropshire around the turn of the 20th century. What was happening in England at that time that he was kind of getting at was how the ideas and the ideals of a wonderful pastoral life were starting to come into conflict with the age of empire, and how
Strikes Back?
Yes. No, sort of how it was fading. So in response to different wars of empire that the English were waging, that the British Empire was doing, and how it was having an effect on the people themselves, is kind of what he's after in a lot of this. So a lot of it's set in very pastoral verse forms, but it has sort of an undertone of death and remembrance.
Yeah.
Not too dissimilar from
the Brahms.
From the Brahms, yeah, because it really does focus on, at least the 6 songs that George Butterworth chose to set in this set, they do focus on how the living people have to deal with what happens when people don't come home from war. And it's kind of interesting that we both fell upon these themes of leaving loss and remembrance for this week.
Well, I feel like we've been talking about something like this for a while, especially around like the 1-year mark of the pandemic. Grieving. I mean, we grieve for the loss of the year too. Not that it was a big like loss of time, but a lot of people lost their lives and their jobs and just loss all around. Yeah. So I think that that's what we were channeling
and finding ways to and I think that's definitely why this has been literally reverberating around my brain.
Brain.
It's a lot of spaces. But that's definitely, and I'm assuming it's similar with the Brahms for you, and I think with your other pieces.
I'm gonna bookend this show today with another. It's not super happy, but we'll get there.
So I love this set for a number of reasons, but I love how it's paced. It kind of goes a slow song, a fast song, slow song, fast song, and then it sort of all falls apart at the end.
Is this how Butterworth wanted the 6 done in that row?
In this order. It's how he put them. And it
is a complete set, the 6?
The 6 is a complete set, yeah.
So not like Mirton that has 50 songs or whatever.
No. And this was 6 songs seemingly specifically set in this way. It's what he left, and it's like completed as an opus, number. But he died actually in World War I as a soldier. So clearly this was close to him and close to his heart. And so that means that he wrote all of these things by the time he was 22, I think. Well,
No big deal.
underachiever.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well, I can't wait to hear them.
Should we do them?
Yeah.
Should I do them?
I was like, I'm not singing that.
All right, here we go. Loveliest of trees, the cherry now is hung with bloom along the bough, and stands about the woodland ride, wearing white for Eastertide. Now of my 80 years and 10, 20 will not come again, and take from 70 springs a score. It only leaves me 50 more. And since to look at things in bloom, 50 springs are little room about the woodland. I will go to see the cherry hung with snow. When I was 21, I heard a wise man say, give crowns and pounds and guineas, but not your heart away. Give pearls away and rubies, but keep your fancy free. But I was 21, no use to talk to me.
When I was 21, I heard him say again, the heart out of the bosom is never given in vain. 'Tis paid with sighs of plenty and sold for endless rue. But I am 22, and oh, 'tis true, 'tis true. Tis true. Look not in my eyes, for fear they mirror true the sight I see, and there you find your face too clear, and love it and be lost like me. When the long nights through must lie spent in star-defeated sighs, but why should you, as well as I, perish? Gaze not in my eyes. A Grecian lad, as I hear tell, one that many loved in vain, looked into a forest well, and never looked away again. There, when the turf in springtime flowers, with downward eye and gazes sad, stands amid the glancing showers, a jonquil, not a Grecian lad. Think no more, lad, laugh, be jolly. Why should men make haste to die? Empty heads and tongues a talking make the rough road easy walking, and the feather pate of folly bears the falling sky. Oh, 'tis jesting, dancing, drinking spins the heavy world around. If young hearts were not so clever, oh, they would be young forever. Think no more, 'tis only thinking lays lads underground. Think no more, lad, laugh, be jolly. Why should men make haste to die? Empty heads and tongues a talking make the rough road easy walking, and the feather pate of folly bears the falling sky. The lads in their hundreds to Ludlow come in for the fair. There's men from the barn and the forge and the mill and the fold. The lads for the girls and the lads for the liquor are there, and there with the rest are the lads that will never be old. There's chaps from the barn and the field and the till and the cart, and many to count are the stalwart and many the brave, and many the handsome of face and the handsome of heart, and few that will carry their looks or their truth to the grave. I wish one could know them, I wish there were tokens to tell the fortunate fellows that now you can never discern, and then one could talk with them friendly and wish them farewell and watch them depart on the way that they will not return. But now you may stare as you'd like, and there's nothing to scan, and brushing your elbow and guessed at and not to be told, they carry back bright to the coiner the mintage of man, the lads that will die in their glory and never be old. Is my team ploughing that I was used to drive, and hear the harness jingle when I was man alive? Aye, the horses trample, the harness jingles now, no change though you lie under the land you used to plough. Is football playing along the river shore, with lads to chase the leather? Now I stand up no more. Aye, the ball is flying, the lads play heart and soul, the goal stands up, the keeper stands up to keep the goal. Is my girl happy that I thought hard to leave? And has she tired of weeping as she lies down at eve? Aye, she lies down lightly, she lies not down to weep. Your girl is well contented, be still, my lad, and sleep. Is my friend hearty? Now I am thin and pine, and has he found to sleep in a better bed than mine? Yes, lad, I lie easy, I lie as lads would choose. I cheer a dead man's sweetheart. Never ask me whose.
All right. Beautiful.
Thank you. Oh boy.
I know, it gets you a little bit, doesn't it? Oof! Especially that last piece. It is a doozy.
And that last piece, for how little sound comes out, it is so tiring. But it's a cool effect, and one that I don't get to do very often. So it's fun, and boy, oof.
Well, and a lot of people might not know that softer sounds take so much more energy to do. You think, oh, big sounds, big energy. Yes, that's true, but those fortissimo moments is just like letting go. But,
yeah.
But the pianissimo moments are a ton of support.
Yeah.
A ton.
Otherwise, it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Exactly. Weird to see us eating coffee, right?
There we go. Well, yeah.
So there's one more piece that I'm going to sing. It is from A Room with the View. The opera, not the book or the television show, or the movie, but it was certainly based on the book. The composer is Robert Nelson, and this opera is contemporary, very contemporary, absolutely beautiful. And if you've ever read the book or have seen the movie, it follows the same exact story. So my character is Lucy. This is Lucy's aria. And it comes at the end of Act 1, where they're about to... So Charlotte, her chaperone, and Lucy are about to travel to Rome at Charlotte's insistence. What had happened was... Lucy and George Emerson kissed.
Oh, George.
Oh! And Charlotte found them and basically was beside herself. In like the English way of not showing emotion.
Stop saying oh.
Stop saying oh. Yes, in a very crown way. But Charlotte basically said to Lucy, "We're leaving. Our time has come. I'm taking you out of this place. I've been a terrible chaperone because this happened to you. This terrible thing of George kissing you happened to you."
At least she doesn't implicate her or, like, weirdly victim blame or
well,
something.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
It's weird, though.
It is. And there is an unmistakable connection between Lucy and George. So this is Lucy basically in the aftermath. It's she is getting ready for bed the night before they're to leave to go to Rome. Yeah, and she's not happy about it. She is not at all.
No.
She's very conflicted because she's like, okay, this is my duty. I should I need to go to Rome because my chaperone said so. My mother is there. And, yeah, she's none too pleased.
She tore up. Yeah, but it's another, thinking about remembrance and loss. It's not the same as in the sense that it's about death. But to her, it kind of feels like it, though.
Missed opportunity, I think.
But for her though, she extrapolates that, like it goes out into some kind of dark places
It does.
though.
It
so,
does.
I mean, for her, it kind of was a little bit.
Yeah.
It feels like it, at least. If you can imagine, think back, like the first crush that let you down, like
Yeah.
it sucked. So
That's true.
I don't know.
It's been a while since then. I hope you like it.
He gave me his room that he said had a view, but I can't see anything but two old women slinking off before dawn. Two old maids with their trunks filled with books, and their hearts filled with nothing. No, I must tell him I don't care for his common brutish ways. I must tell him I don't care. I must tell him he was wrong. No, that Charlotte was wrong. That I am wrong. No, I must tell him that he has misestimated me, that he doesn't know the sort of woman with whom he is dealing, and neither do I. This room has four walls, but no windows. This room has a door that goes nowhere. Oh, Lucy, Lucy, it wasn't supposed to be like this. If this is love, I don't want it. If this is hell, I believe it. And I still can't see anything.
Well, dang.
To the point.
Yeah.
A little dramatic. Yeah.
A little dramatic. I think it's warranted
I think it is
in her
too.
situation.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah, I think it's warranted.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all we've got for today.
Yeah.
You helped us discover that we do in fact have a theme today, so that's
That's
exciting.
right.
It's not a very uplifting theme, but it was there.
But one nonetheless.
Yeah. So we're very excited to have you try coffee cheese.
Yes.
It seems like more than one of you was revved up, ready to go about that. So
Some are nauseated. It's fine. It's not for everybody.
No, it isn't.
No.
Which is just fine.
We are so close to 300 follows on
Facebook.
I think we're at like 294.
Something like that. It's really, really
super close. So thank you so much to everybody who has already shared our page and continues to do so. We have a couple of regulars out there looking at our unofficial manager. Thanks, Kev. So keep doing what you're doing, keep sharing, and if you are unable to support us financially with Patreon, which we're going to talk to in a minute, tell one person about Perk and Bark this week if you liked our show. But speaking of Patreon, what is it?
If you would like to support us financially, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/perkandbark. You can support us for as little as $5 a month to keep doing what we're doing. This is a low-budget show, but it's not a free show, unfortunately. And we do have some bigger projects planned. There's also some wonderful features for the Patreon subscribers, such as you were the first people to get to see coffee cheese. We are going to be putting up a library of all of the videos that of just us singing. So you'll have all of the singing, access to all the singing videos, which is also pretty cool. And then we have a larger project coming up as well that is an opera featuring the two of us, and you will be the first to know about that on Patreon, and you will also be thanked as likely as a producer or some other sort of credit and be involved in the process along the way.
Yeah. Well, we have some really cool stuff coming up as well. Zach and I are now part of Opera on Tap Philadelphia. So make sure to give them a follow on all of the social media. I think they're on both Facebook and Instagram. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that show later. We might also have them on as a guest. The
admins.
Yes, the admins. Thank you.
The wonderful people who run it with their blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes. So give that a follow, and I think that's it.
I think so too.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will see you next week. Thanks, everybody.